Hey friends, Michael Albert here. How are you? All is well here. I'm going to record a special video for you and show you how to make one of my American flags. Um, for those of you who don't know, um, I'm an artist and an author, and this is my book, An Artist's America. And I'm known for making art out of cereal boxes and other cardboard consumer packages. This was my first cereal box collage. And eventually, after doing collages like that, I started using the colors of different packages and creating things like my American flag. And you can see behind me on the wall here is one of my American flags. And maybe you can notice that it doesn't have stars and it doesn't have stripes. And I do think that most people can recognize that as an artwork that represents an American flag. In that particular piece, what I did is I cut red pieces from a Coca-Cola box, a Coca-Cola soda carton, and blue pieces from an Oreo cookie box, and I glued them down onto a rectangular white piece of museum board. And so the white background kind of represents the white stripes and the white stars. But I'm going to demonstrate how to make one of my flags. And this is a project that you can try at home. I did record a short introductory video. And if you didn't see it, what you're going to need to do this project are a pair of scissors, a bottle of glue, and a piece of cardboard. Even a piece of brown cardboard is great, like the back of a writing pad. And then you're going to need some assorted boxes. And many of us have different types of boxes that the foods and different products that we buy at the grocery store and the drugstore and the toy store come in. And many of them are colorful. And some examples would be like a Ritz cracker box. You could see there's a lot of red on there and there's some blue. By the way, this project works really well with flags of any country or state. I'm going to particularly be showing you how to make an American flag, red, white, and blue today. But any flag that you know of, as long as you know what it looks like and what the colors are, you could find those colors the same way we're doing this project and recreate your own flag. And while you're at it, maybe you even want to create your own flag. You know, there's no rules about this kind of stuff. It's art. So you'll want to find some red, white, and blue products, though, if you're going to try to make an American flag. Here's some Cheez-It Grooves, new kind of cracker, and there's some blue and there's some red on there. I did a little bit of pre-cutting, and I cut some blue and white from a Barbara's Spoonful cereal. I'm going to use some of that. I found some red and white pieces from a greeting card envelopes from Staples, a little strip that says lower cholesterol that's on the Cheerios box. Other things that are red and white would do here. This was on the little Ritz box, this little logo. And so get those materials together, and now we'll make a flag. So I wanted to say that the flag that I showed you, this is a print. This is a pretty big print, and some of my flags actually are very small. And to make a print, I scan it and then can enlarge it to print it. But for example, here's a little flag that I made, and I don't know if you could notice it, but the red and the white section is from Cheez-Its. And the blue and white section is actually from a box of Band-Aids. But it's very small. Look how small it is. It's, I don't know the exact size, probably like about 1 inch by 1.5 inches or 1 3/4 inches. It's a little rectangle. It was done on a little piece of cardboard. And after I finish my work, I always sign it and date it. And sometimes I make even smaller flags like this one. This was done on a little piece of illustration board. and not sure where these pieces came from, but I picked some white letters on a red background for the section of the red and white stripes, and some text, some writing that is in white letters on a dark blue background. And since I kept that in the section where the stars are, and I kept the red and white words in the section where the stripes are, you can see it kind of has that look of an American flag. It's almost like if you looked at an American flag on a flagpole really far away, hanging on the top of a building somewhere, let's say, you really couldn't see the stars or the stripes. What you would see would be a little bit of blue with white in the section where the stars are, and a little bit of red and white where the red and white stripes are. And that's kind of the effect that we're getting here. But that's not to say that you can't create your own flag that has stripes. These stripes were made actually from a Ritz cracker box. The red came from the Ritz, the solid red part came from the Ritz box, and the white part is actually the nutrition facts, which are in white with red writing on them. And then I found a nice blue over here with a little bit of white letters on it to kind of represent the stars. And this was actually glued down onto the back of a Cheerio box. So you could even use the inside of another box as your cardboard if you don't have a special board. But what I had was a little piece of like a strip of cardboard that I had collected, and I decided to make one of my small flags. So I cut a piece off of it earlier, and this is a little rectangle, so this is perfect. And what I'm going to do now is take some of this blue and white, and I'm going to cut a little square of it out. And that is what I'm going to glue down to be the corner of my flag. And actually, I could do that now. Here's my special glue bottle. Uh-oh, is my glue stuck? Very often you have to unstick your glue if it gets clogged, and you could pick it off, or you could stick a pin in there. I have these push pins that I use, and kind of put it in the hole there and clear the hole. And I don't know if you could hear that, but if you squeeze it and you hear air coming out, that means the glue will come out when you try it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of glue on my piece. Don't use too much glue because that makes a mess and it's wasteful, and it also gets very gooey and doesn't dry quickly. And it curls up. You'll notice if you use too much glue, your pieces will curl. I mean, that's okay as long as you take some time and hold the pieces down until they start drying. But what I do is I put a little bit of glue on the back, and then I use my finger and I spread out the glue. We spread it out all from edge to edge so that there's not too much, but that it's totally coated. You could then put the piece where you want it to be, and press it down and hold it for a few seconds. So here we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these words. Maybe I'll take this word cholesterol, and I'll cut it into some strips. I'm going to try to make it fit into the spaces that it is. And so here, even though I cut the words lower and cholesterol into pieces to represent the red stripes on the box. And here's this. And so again, what I'm going to do is glue this down, put a little bit of glue on each piece, and use my finger to spread it out evenly. You know, when you're working on art projects, sometimes you get a little gluey, or if you're painting, you get a little paint on you. It's okay. You'll wash it off. I guess if you are possibly going to be messy. You might want to cover the surface of wherever you're working so you don't get glue or paint on it. You also might not want to get it on your clothes, so you might want to wear an apron or a smock, they call it. Here, look, I put the first 2 stripes on there. Now I'm gonna put the next couple of stripes on there. But I think it's an interesting idea to make a collage out of red, white, and blue packages to represent the American flag. Sometimes I use words, sometimes I use images. I'm going to show you something else that I do sometimes, which is that even in some of my other works that I do, I sometimes make little flags like this in my collages. And so it's become like a signature thing of mine. So here we go. Serial cholesterol. This doesn't really have any special meaning. It's just made out of these particular materials, but you could find different words and different images and stuff that has some sort of meaning for you. But so that's generally how you make one of these flags. Here I did a collage. One of the projects I'm going to do, one of my next pre-recorded video demonstrations is going to be how to do a word collage. But you could see on this collage where I spelled out the word peace, I also put a little flag here. And I do that a lot. I just made a collage for a library I was working with, Glenridge Public Library. And you can see right over here is a little, like, I had a little space, so I did a little American flag. It's not a full flag, but you could tell that that's what it's supposed to be. So that is one idea for you. And spend a little bit of time finding some red, white, and blue packages or images. You could use magazines, you could use catalogs or junk mail, and spend a little bit of time over the next couple of weeks, maybe collecting anything that's red, white, and blue that you might want to include, and then you could make your own American flag in Michael Albert's pop art style. I'll show you a few more of my flags before we go. Here's one. This little bag actually has some of my tiniest little flag masterpieces, and I want to show them to you. I'll show you a couple of them just to show you how small I can go sometimes. Ooh, this might be one of the smallest ones I ever made. Look at that. And it even has my initials, MA, in my in the composition. Look how tiny that is. It could fit on the tip of my nose. But you know what? Just because it's very small doesn't mean that it's any less of a serious work of art and possibly even a masterpiece. And actually creating a masterpiece is really my goal as an artist. I try to use my creativity and my materials and my energy and my effort, and to try to think of things to do and then work hard to try to do them and see what it turns out to be. And I don't know if any of these things are masterpieces, but these are my attempts. Here's a little collage using a couple of images that I found on different packages, but it's still the idea of an American flag. Should I show you the smallest American flag I ever made? It's in this little plastic case. It's tiny. It's so small that I couldn't even sign my name on the back. I just put my initials, MA. But all of my other works, I actually do sign. This flag was created on Facebook Live, actually, 3/27/20, which is March 27th, 2020. And I sign my name, I write the date, I give the work a title, and I do this little squiggle also, which you could see, where it is. Oh, my finger's on it. Right over here is my squiggle. Let me see if I could find another one that has my squiggle on it. Oh, I'll sign my squiggle on my newest work. Here we go. It's actually May 1st, so I'm going to sign my name, Michael Albert. I'm going to write 5/1/21 because that's how I write the date, and then with my squiggle. And let me see, what am I going to call it? I'm going to call it the serial cholesterol flag. Sometimes giving an artwork a title, gives you something else to think about. So it's called the serial cholesterol flag. So I hope you'll be able to give this project a try at home. I'd love to see some of your flags. You could send me a message, and you could send the flags you've created, take a picture of it or scan it and send it to your librarian. I'm sure they'd love to see it. And the most important thing when you're making art is to try to relax, let yourself think about ideas, let yourself be creative, and enjoy yourself, because that's the most important thing. All right, friends, I'll catch you later. And thanks so much for listening and watching. All right, bye.